Can I relax now? Is this a safe space? Is this a safe space? Because I just spent the last 3 hours sitting on the edge of my seat. I had music in and I was going to take it off. And then I was like, no, the Hawks are winning while I'm playing music. So let me just play it through the rest of the game. And well, they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. I took it as disrespect because I've been compared to Kevin Huerter, not many times, a couple of times because I got red hair. There aren't too many people in the NBA with red hair. So when you're trying to compare someone to you, I mean, it's kind of an obvious comparison. I've taken it as disrespect before, I'll be honest, because everyone wants to be compared to someone better than Kevin Huerter. No, never again. Never again will I ever take it as disrespect to get compared to Kevin Red Velvet Huerter, the Philadelphia 76ers' worst enemy, Seth Curry's father. Seth Curry's father. Let me repeat that. I know his father supposedly birthed two of the greatest shooters of all time, but the real father is Red Velvet because he just bodied Seth Curry all night. Someone photoshopped that picture of the guy and the son, and that's Kevin Huerter, Seth Curry. That is all you need to say. That is all you need to see. Because the Atlanta Hawks just beat the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't know exactly what to say. As I said, I was literally sitting here biting my nails for like 2 hours, which isn't probably a healthy habit to have, or listening to music. I didn't even put socks on because I'm like, I didn't have socks on when the Hawks were winning, so let me not put them on now. We can't leave any of those things to chance. You might call it superstitious, you might call it dumb, idiotic, I don't care. We're not leaving any of those things to chance. Gallinari, I said he was overpaid. Give him the max. Give him the max contract. Where do I sign? Sign it right here? Sign it right here? Yeah, sure. Give him the max contract because Gallinari pops up with 17 points, 5 rebounds, gets a steal on Embiid late in the game, hit those clutch free throws. Gallinari, the last few games in general, has been absolutely clutch, making timely shots after timely shots. And as I said, give him the max contract. For me to say he was overpaid, that is the dumbest thing I've ever said. And I've said some dumb things, but that is dumber than anything because give him the max contract. I don't care. That's all we need to say. Trae Young, 5 of 23. People would have clowned him if they lost. People might still clown him for going 5 of 23, but he played a fantastic game. He played a fantastic game. I wanted him in the whole game, 48 minutes, Kevin Durant style. He played 43 in the end, and I'm happy with that. 43 minutes after Philly went on that little run at the start of the fourth quarter. I knew Trae had to come back in. I was praying that he came back in, and he came back in, and then the Hawks ended up closing out the game. 27-25 last quarter. After that 5-0 run, it was tied up. Trae Young came back in, kind of ebbed and flowed. Trae made some shots at the end. I think he was 2 of 18 heading into the last quarter of 2 of 17, and then hit 3 shots in the last quarter, which again, doesn't seem like much. Doesn't seem like he had a good game statistically. 6 turnovers. Again, it wasn't his best game. Let's not get it twisted. But in the end, he still controlled the tempo. He still kept everyone in check. He was still getting lobs to Capella. He was still getting lobs to Collins. He was still setting up the offense, and you need that. You need that calm presence that Trae has proven to be every single game of these playoffs. He continues to prove to be that calm presence, and they've won. Philadelphia in 5? I swear I remember hearing that. After game 1, after game 2, after game 3, it was Philadelphia in 6, after game 4, after game 5, Philadelphia is still going to win. I can't get my words out. Philadelphia are going to win. 4, 5, 6, 7, Philly in 8? No, you're out. Maybe next year, Philly. Maybe next year. Maybe next year, but for now, we're smoking on that Philly pack. Don't care as corny as that looked. I don't care because we're smoking on that Philly pack. It's just happening. Because John Collins as well. What a performance. 14 points, 16 rebounds, getting in Ben Simmons' face. He's better than Ben Simmons. That's a fact. That's a fact. John Collins' series was absolutely unbelievable. Guarding Embiid, guarding Harris, guarding whoever the hell you want him to guard, getting offensive rebounds. Game 5 of that game where he got those putback dunks, that wins them this series. They don't win this game. They don't win game 5 if they don't get those putback dunks, those energy plays from John Collins in game 5. If he doesn't provide all series long as someone who can stretch the floor, as someone who can score inside, as someone who gets those lob passes, as someone who defends multiple positions, they don't win this series. And well, give him the max as well. Give everyone on this team the max, which doesn't really add up. I'm not a GM. I'm not a financial guy, but I don't think that adds up, but do it anyway. Do it anyway. Make it work. Bogdanovic, poor game. It's all right. We move on. Next series, he'll be better. Hopefully, he'll be healthier. Let's keep moving. Capella got a lot better as the series went on. He guarded Embiid a lot better. What does Embiid end up with? He ends up with 31, 11 of 21. That's about as good as you could hope for. 8 turnovers as well. 8 turnovers. And in general, that was the story for the 76ers versus the Hawks managed to hold on to the ball, and that was the difference. Why am I not overreacting to this? I don't know. I guess I've just been in a state of kind of flow the whole time, just kind of in a state. So I'm not really in some kind of crazed state like I was after the last win, because after the last win, it kind of came out of nowhere. This game, I was just locked in the entire game. I was just locked in, watching what was happening. Nothing. Just watching what was happening, biting my fingernails, and a couple of fist bumps every now and then when they made some shots. And then finally, when the whistle blew for the end of the game, I was kind of relaxed, but not really. There's no real relaxation here. It's still a high. It's still nervousness. I don't know this kind of energy, but it's still something. And just moving on down the line. Onyeka Okongwu, in his first year, he's a first-year player putting up 1 point. I don't care about the points, +9, and he was that kind of guy. He was a +9 in terms of the impact he came on. He defended Embiid probably as good as Capella. Honestly speaking, he probably defended Embiid as good as Capella. He is strong. He can move. He was attacking pretty much every rebound. He only ends up with 3 rebounds, but like the way he was attacking those rebounds, he really left his imprint on this game. For someone in his first year, he's got a promising future. We don't need to talk about the future right now. We're talking about the present, and the present is the Hawks are in the Eastern Conference Finals. People said the Knicks were going to beat the Hawks in 5. I heard in 5. I'm not even joking. I heard people say the Knicks would win in 5. The Knicks would win comfortably. Then Philadelphia, that wasn't even a challenge. People were already preparing, Philadelphia versus one of the Bucks or Nets. Who are the 76ers going to beat in the next round? Or who are they going to face? How did the 76ers match up against the Bucks? How did the 76ers match up against the Nets? Are they playing another team in this series? Who's the other team? That guy with the, what's that small guy? I don't know. He wasn't an all-star, wasn't an all-NBA player, wasn't a top 25 player. I can't even think of that team, to be honest, but the 76ers, Bucks, Nets, I don't know, they've got a good chance against both of those teams. I really like their team. Ben Simmons, multi-positional defender, Joel Embiid, superstar MVP level player. They've got some shooting around those guys now as well. Yeah, I'm really excited for what they can do going forward in these playoffs. I'm really excited. The other team won? You've got to talk about the Atlanta Hawks now? Do you know their players' names? I'll help you out. So there's John Collins, he's a multi-positional defender. He's really good. He crashes the boards. He can stretch the floor. He wanted a max contract this year. He got laughed at, but he'll probably get close to that because in these playoffs after the New York series where he wasn't that great, he has been amazing against Philadelphia, and that's exactly what you want from a player in their first playoff series. You've then got Bogdanovic. He didn't have the best series, so it's probably not the best kind of way for you to introduce yourself to this team, but Bogdanovic, he's a sniper. He's a 3-level scorer. He's in general a really good player that really helps this team click. He made that big shot against Philadelphia in game 1. I still can't say Philadelphia. I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but he made that big shot. He shushed the crowd, and well, that turns out that was a big shot. Although he didn't have a good series, that's still helpful. Who else do we have to introduce you to? Clint Capella. He's the guy that was guarding Embiid most of the series. He's a good rebounder. He got traded for who? Robert Covington or someone? Someone not as good as Clint Capella. He's probably an all-defensive level player that didn't get the nod. Who else is there? Kevin Huerter. He just dropped 27 in an elimination game 7 against Philadelphia on their home court, including making Seth Curry his son, put him in the baby chair, put him in the rocking chair, Russell Westbrook style on Patrick Beverley. That's what he just did. Who else? Trae Young. He's their star player. So you didn't really want him as an all-star or an all-NBA player, or I didn't see people saying he was a top 25 player. Yeah, Ben Simmons, that guy, you said he was better than him, but he's pretty good. So he helped this team win as well. This is just his first playoff run, just his 3rd year, but he was seen as overrated and empty stats kind of guy by a lot of people. He's proven not to be that. Coming off the bench, you've got Gallinari. You probably know about him. Onyeka Okongwu, probably your first time hearing about him. Yeah, I know you might struggle to pronounce his name, but it's Okongwu, so he's really good. He's really promising. Top 6th pick in the draft, I believe. He's going to be great for years to come. Next year, he's going to be a double-double machine, but as of right now, he's a really solid bench contributor that's already making an impact in his first playoff run. You've then got Solomon Hill, who's really funny on Twitter. If you don't know, give him a follow. He's funny on Twitter, and also, he came in, didn't really score, didn't really do much, but he's there, and he's just a great morale guy. And then Lou Williams, who in Game 5, similar to John Collins, similar to those guys, he made a huge spark off the bench. He's still Lou Williams. He's still the 6th man of the year. So that's your team. You've then got some bench guys as well. And also, you probably didn't realize because I didn't hear anyone talk about this, but DeAndre Hunter, who was their 3rd best player in last series, who's their 2nd best defender, their best perimeter defender, their most versatile defender, and someone who can shoot the ball, who averaged 15 points in the regular season, he hasn't even played. So he hasn't even played. I heard about Danny Green being out. I heard about all of these guys being out and Embiid being injured. But DeAndre Hunter didn't play a game. And, well, they still won. So that's my introduction to the team. If you're new, if you haven't seen any Hawks games and you're trying to catch up to speed and say, what can you say about the Hawks in comparison to the Bucks? I know you're just going to be talking about how the Bucks and who they're going to play in the finals, how the Bucks match up against the Suns or the Clippers. How do they match up against either of those teams? Well, at least you could probably do a little bit of research on the Hawks before you do that. So there you go. I'm just giving you a little head start, just a little head start. But anyways, as I was saying, yeah, Atlanta win that series. Philadelphia fans are in shambles. They're throwing stuff on the court. And what? I mean, can you blame them? Yeah, you can, because you don't have to act like that. But still, that's unlucky for you guys because classy bunch of fans from what I've seen. From what I've seen, I don't live in America, but classy bunch of fans they seem to be. What was I saying before I had to introduce you the whole team, the whole squad? If you're a Hawks fan, sorry for doing that, but I'm sure you don't mind me going over some of the players and what they do for just new people who have never seen the Atlanta Hawks or are wondering, who's this team that's going to beat the 76ers that were going to make the Eastern Conference Finals, that had an easy run to the Eastern Conference Finals? Oh, their teams are trying to get the first seed. Oh, teams, they can't wait to get the first seed because they're going to play against the Knicks or the Hawks. And that's going to be a sweep. That's going to be in 5. That's going to be no worries. They can't wait to get that seed. I guess they got that seed and they got packed up. They got packed up by Trae, Ice Trae, Bogey, Kevin Huerter, Red Velvet. As I was saying, turnovers were a big thing. How many did Philly end up with? They end up with 17. The Hawks end up with 10. They controlled the ball. Trae Young ends up with 6, which is actually unlike what he's been doing all playoffs long. He's been averaging about 3. He's been really good with the ball in his hands. But as I said, watch the game, you see his impact is clear. He still sets up all the offense. He's still someone that you trust with. He still makes ridiculous passes that also change momentum a lot. When you need a basket, he was there to get those buckets in the fourth quarter. And then all throughout the game, when you need something to keep the momentum going, he'll find an easy lob to Capella. He'll stretch the defense. He puts the defense in a situation where they're scrambling. They're scrambling all the time. And that allows Kevin Huerter to get those one-on-one matchups with Seth Curry. That allows John Collins. That allows all of these guys, Gallinari, all of these guys to get the matchups they want. It's because of Trae Young. It all comes back to Trae Young. You got to give credit to the role players. They've been fantastic. A lot of them have stepped up and played like stars in the games when they've needed to play like stars. But to look at this game and say Trae Young underperformed, maybe. Yeah, compared to his other games, yes. But in terms of he didn't play like a star, he played like a star all series long. And today as well was no difference. Regardless if he shot 20% or if he shot 50%, they won the game. That's all that matters. He carried them all series long. He carried them all playoffs long. And he's looking a lot more like a superstar than an empty numbers guy. He's probably a superstar. No, he is a superstar now. I said if he wins this series, he's a top 10 player. I mean, he could be. He could be. I'm not doing a list right now live, but he's up there. He's right up there. And he's a superstar player. He's a generational talent. And the Hawks are pretty happy with that trade they made that they were ridiculed for. They're pretty happy with that. They're also pretty happy that he's not an all-NBA player, so he's not getting a supermax just yet. But, I mean, people will probably give it to him next year once they realize, oh, this contributes to winning. He's not just some kind of small guy that roams around the court, can't defend, can't do any of these things. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. So, yeah, maybe I'll make another video about this Hawks team talking about how they can play the Bucks. I'll make another video tomorrow about the Hawks, don't worry. But that's all I've got to say. That's my instant reaction.